What's going on, guys? It's Frank here with another episode of Metal League Mondays, where we look at gold player level replays from untapped.gg and just kind of give some notes on maybe some things that could have gone better for these players, and maybe give something back to the community for people that want to get into Stormgate but are worried that they're not going to be good enough, and it's not going to be fun to get absolutely stomped by the players that have had a lot more practice. So these are all going to be replays that I got from untapped.gg. We have no idea who these players are, but let's see. Okay, so both of these players do understand that scouting with your Hexen is something that you want to do. Looks like Blue came forward, saw that pocket expansion happening, and just teleports home. Almost the exact same time that our red player did the same thing, but looks like Blue's kind of building his production closer to his main. And I wonder if that's just a leftover reflex of wanting to build on top of, your race's ground territory thing. Shroud for the Infernals. But, yeah, so the Conclave finishes first. We don't see any gods popping out of it just yet. I think that's something that you would want to have done on the way sooner than later. We do see the expansion finish up here for Blue, and alright, yeah, it looks like there's an imp already there. There's already an imp over here for Red. Red, in the meanwhile, yeah, built their production on top of the ramp, which is a little bit, I would say it's just better in general. Your units don't have to walk as far to get to the rest of your death ball. What's going on here? Is this the third? The greedy third. Greedy third. That is just straight up like wishing and praying that you don't get spotted by your opponent. But yeah, I think Red is doing the right thing here and creeping, doing their best to get Fiends. No, you have to dodge those telegraphed attacks though. You do pay, and so the price to take a creep camp and to get that buff and the extra resources out of that camp is the health of your army units, but you don't want to be actually losing units. I know that the health camps have been deleted from this map. Like, there are no more health camps, so regenerating core health for an Infernal player just can't happen anymore. But that's even more the reason that you need to be frugal about how you spend that core health that your units have. Case in point, that Brute went down. I don't think it necessarily had to, but that's alright. Meanwhile, Blue is just getting away with absolute murder here, not getting punished whatsoever for the third that they've built. But I think a third is only useful if you're saturating your bases, and it looks like they are. All right, so the ritual chamber's up. Did I miss? Did I just miss a? Oh no, the ritual chamber's up, and we've got a depth training finishing up. Using the Venom Traps defensively is a good move. I do like it. I think it's a better move to throw them out on the map where you think your opponent's going to be and use them offensively. Make it a pain for your opponent to be out on the map and make them like paranoid of like, all right, where am I going to see the next Venom Trap? Do I need to build detectors? Is this all something I need to worry about later on? That I love. Is this? Yeah, there's the Master Training for Hexen. So we're going to be seeing a lot of miasma. We see a couple more production structures going down here for Blue. Is this the closest that they can build the shrine to the Luminite, or can they actually build up right up next to the edge? I want to say they can build right next to the right next to the Ethereum. Excuse me. Because that's what you want to do. If you're getting the worst of both worlds, well, then you kind of missed the point there, but it's fine. Doing diagonal mining on the Luminite rock is fine, but if this is meant to be, it looks like the placement of the shrine is meant to prioritize the Therium, so you'd think that these imps should be prioritizing mining the Therium, but they're not. Anyway, we've had a lot of discussion, at least most recently on the most recent episode of Stormgate crashing, how strong this central position is on Ruination, and kind of maybe it's a little bit too strong. But this being a Gold Devil game, maybe it's not going to be as scary as it could be. Alright, so there's going to be a Magmadon, which is a great counter to these this many Gaunts. Hexen's going to be out on the map. Nightfall Infestation falls, and it does catch quite a bit of the red army there. And now it's going to be revealed just how many Hexen are on Blue's side. So it's a bunch of brutes that are going to fight, like, they'll happily turn around and fight. Yeah, and the miasmas are going to start coming down. And I think this is actually, yeah, this is more than enough, this is more than enough army for Blue to kick Red off the hill. Blue is the new king of the hill, and normally it's just so much, it's so much blood that needs to be spilled for that top hill to be, to change hands. But it looks like there wasn't much defense set up there. There weren't that many anchor units to, there weren't that many tier 2 units to kind of anchor the position. So yeah, so Red just has to leave. Now this is going to free up Blue to take camps, but there's really not that much DPS in this composition. Like, you don't want Hexen taking the brunt of the damage here. Okay, so it does look like the Brute and the Magmadon are going to be able to get to the front there. The effigy does go down, and it's going to be nice, but it's only nice if you actually stand on the effigy, or stand on the shroud to regenerate that white health. Meanwhile, Red, building up all kinds of production. Yeah, again, here, like, you're perfectly diagonal, so it's the worst possible efficiency for the Luminite. So if you're going to be taking the worst possible, like, bad efficiency on the Luminite, you might as well just build your shrine right on top of the Therium and make it so that there's no, like, the time for the return trip is basically 0 for your imps. I'm still absolutely flabbergasted that this absolutely disgusting greed from Blue player never got punished. But if it works, it works. 12 imps on the Luminite mine, 8 on the this Therium's gonna go really quickly. I think he's gonna have to reprioritize these imps here pretty soon. But now it's working out pretty good. Now it's Red player's turn to try and have to figure out how to crack the position up top of Blue. But there's already been so many venom traps that have been laid down. Now I do like Miasma playstyle, but I think I worry that people are going to get so reliant on Miasma that they're going to forget to actually build units that do damage. Hexens do not do damage. And they are a little bit tankier than most tier 1 units, but no, Skull's wasted on the Superstone gets dropped. Actually, that's a fantastic placement for that Superstone. Huge arc of miasmas to kind of keep back the rest of that army that, like, don't even want to set foot inside of the lava. They're just smart, gigantic connections, miasma all over the place. Unfortunately, there's no color indicators to let us know which miasma belongs to who. You can kind of see it on the circle right as it gets dropped who it belongs to, but in the middle, you have really no idea. So now it's Red that's really falling behind in terms of supply, as Blue's going to retreat back to the top of the hill with their army basically, very much intact. And all these fiends have been saved, or have been generated from that fight. So, again, Blue is the king of the hill, kind of uncontested at the moment. And I think having a front line of a Magmadon and all these brutes is really smart and really well done. The fact that he did it first means that he's going to have a much easier time hanging on to the, no, effigy! Could have thrown down a permanent effigy there. Should have. Alright, 4th coming down for Red. Which I think is the right call, actually. If you know that your opponent's going to be camping the King of the Hill, and basically, like, yeah, you can contest these Luminite camps, but it's really hard to, especially when you know that your opponent's going to good Nightfall Infestation miasma did. Oh no, those are both miasmas, excuse me. But like, if you know that you basically can't contest these 2 Luminite camps, and that your opponent's keeping their entire army at the top of the hill, like, just make the best of it. Take a Therium camp, take a vision camp, like take all the camps that your opponent won't take because they won't leave that hill. And then when they do leave that hill, you know, seize the opportunity. You only get one shot. Alright, so one Luminite camp captured. Oh, using the skull to using the skull as a detector is really nice. I keep forgetting that the skull is a detector. I just thought it was just plain old vision, but it can detect the venom traps, so that's pretty handy. It's not very often I see miasma builds versus miasma builds. No, you need to go back and contest! Contest! Great miasma connections for red, but there's just so much blue right now on the map that... Yeah, and another reason I think that blue is kind of winning this fight in the middle. Not just because it's stronger defensively to hang on to the middle once you already have it, but because he's not scared to, like it seems like red is scared of even dipping a single tippy toe inside of the miasma. Like, at some point, you just have to take the fight. Yeah, like, they turned around and actually started, like, taking the fight. I think that should start happening a lot earlier. Oh, my hell. Holy Hellborn. That's 7 Hellborn that are all shooting down on Red's army all at once. Kind of got stuck in the corner there, and, yeah, got cut off from his reinforcements coming from the north, so... That'll be it. GG's, guys. Thanks for this IVI game on this edition of Meta League Mondays. On to the next game. Hey, guys. Here we are on Game 2. This is our second IVI of the Infernal edition of Meta League Mondays patch 0.2.1. And we're on Furious Resolve. So, for those of you that don't know how these 4-player maps work... typically, most ladder maps have, like, here's where player 1 will spawn, here's where player 2 will spawn, and you automatically know where your opponent's going to be. On these 4-player maps, there's a possibility that you don't know, like, let's say you're blue, for instance. You have no idea where your opponent's going to spawn on the map. So, having to scout is a pretty big deal early on in the game. And knowing where your opponent's at is, of course, also really important. But that'll really dictate kind of how the game goes. So, in this case, because they weren't cross-spawned, they were laterally spawned to one another. That means that blue is going to have earlier access to the health camp, and they're going to be able to reinforce and fight a little bit better on this health camp, unless red decides to take it really quickly. Yeah, honestly, if I were blue, I would be going after that health camp first, and then shoring it up defensively, and making sure that red absolutely cannot contest it whatsoever. So another thing that we're seeing is, I love seeing this on lower-level replays as well. Having gaunts on either side of the slimes is really good, just to spread out the damage, because this Hexen can tank quite a bit. Oh no, you have to move this gaunt. You have to move this gaunt so it doesn't die. Okay, it doesn't die. Woo! They'll need to spend time at that health camp for a little bit though, but yeah, that's the point. It's so that the Hexen doesn't have to leave because it's tanking all the damage, and the gaunts still tank a little bit of damage, and because it's all spread out across 3 units, that means that the health regen can undo the damage that was dealt in taking that camp a lot easier. Okay, back to the game itself. Looks like blue is going to be wanting to take the vision camp on their side of the map, and there are going to be a couple of fiends that want to contest, but red should know, after seeing how many fiends there are, and how many brutes and how many gaunts, that he's just outnumbered right now. This is a terrible fight to take. Turn around. Go. Nope. Don't even try to stutter step. You took damage. You just get chased all the way back home. Now that it's past the halfway point, and the reinforcements will show up faster for red, that's when I think he can start taking fights. I think he should have taken that cabbage too along the way, but that's okay. And now it's both players. Yeah, now it's red that's kind of got the leg up on blue in terms of army comp, or army size rather. But yeah, so red's doing the right thing, taking this camp, and they're both gonna try and get the last hit And I think it was still red that took it. Oh man, look at this third. Look at this third from blue. It's really far away. I don't know how I feel about that. It's almost too far away, but I think he's gonna get away with it. I think he's not necessarily by dumb luck, but I think red would never expect to see a third being taken here. Now I think red's got a better third just because it's a Ethereum expansion where, like, yeah, this is what I meant in that Ruination game. Like, these imps basically have no return time when they finish mining some Ethereum. They just, like, they do a 180, drop off the Ethereum, and then they're done. I would say that because this field is getting enriched with Ethereum, that some of these imps can be split away. That's alright. Okay, so finally the Ritual Chamber for blue is going to start Plague Axes, which is going to be really nice. It's going to mean that losing his Hexen isn't going to be as impactful as it would be otherwise. That means he's going to still be able to infest without his Hexen and get more Fiends. And Fiends are great because they're free, and yeah, they soak up shots that would otherwise be soaked up by units that you paid money for. It's also interesting to me that we see this health camp was taken, but red hasn't jumped on this health camp yet. I know it's really far away, but even just contesting that health camp at the 6 o'clock position might be kind of nice. Yeah, JXP, these are ladder games right now. We're doing Metal League Mondays, so it's gonna be all different matchups. The 3 different matchups of Infernal versus we're finishing up IVI right now, and then next is going to be IVC, and then we're going to finish up with IVV, and just kind of point out, like, hey, you know, if you're still learning, here's some things that you can improve on, just kind of quirks on the different maps for the newer players. Great run by here with these Fiends. I think actually that's kind of interesting that they know that because the imps are mining, that they don't have collision, so they can get right in the middle of the giant imp ball and start attacking and get really good surface area on those imps. All right, blue is going to take take that Luminite camp, which is going to be really good. I think that's something that red's going to want to take as soon as they can, but they, like, just looking at the minimap, you know where the blue army is. Oh, and that's right when the shrine finishes up. It's a little rough. Nightfall Infestation is going to go down on those 2 Magmadons, but they're slow Magmadons. They're not going to be stomping forward at any speed. Now, had they continued to move forward, I think they could have zoned out some of those Gaunts and presented a lot more of a threat, and that would have given an opportunity for red's Gaunts to kind of back up a little bit, maybe some time for red to get reinforcements there. Oh no, this Magmadon is just chilling, straight chilling. And yeah, now it looks like player 1's in a commanding lead, just getting rid of shrine after shrine, ahead by double the supply. And yeah, red's in real trouble. I don't know how red's going to be able to hold this, but he's sticking with it, which is good. I think a lot of the reason that I did like red's shrine positioning better actually on this double Therium, but I don't know if he just didn't spend. I was watching the fights more than I was watching the resource counts, but I don't know if it was just a lack of expenditure or a lack of taking bad fights or something. But I like this expansion for a third more than I like this expansion for a third. But I really like this choke, and these 2 Magmadons were like, all right, yeah, fine, you want to fight into my choke? Go nuts. Great surface area on this Magmadon that's going to run on forward and get a lot of damage done to a lot of these smaller units, but these Gaunts are fully upgraded, so they're going to have they're going to be able to easily outrun these Magmadons. The Magmadons don't have the Tendon upgrades, Raging Tendons, there we go. So they're not going to be able to catch absolutely anything at all. Another Magmadon pops out and is going to try and get a lot of damage done. Does get fantastic surface area, but again, he's just running into so much DPS density that he gets focused down, and 1 Magmadon at a time does not a defense make. Finally, it's all the production that it's getting killed off for red here, and that's the end of the game. Blue takes it. GG's, guys. Guys, kind of continuing on with the Metal League Mondays, we're going to do 2 games that are Infernal versus Celestial. So As an Infernal player, you probably already know what your side of the map looks like on Boneyard, but here's what the Celestial player sees. It's going to start off with the array and saturate that array with prisms, and then immediately go for the second array, just because on patch 0.2.1 that we're on right now, the Celestial economy has been pretty heavily hindered. And I think... Whoa! Whoa! Very early third from our Infernal player here. Coming up before the Natural's even halfway done. That is a lot of resources to spend. And I think that's honestly maybe a little bit... There might be too many imps to be using that aren't going to be mining. And those are all imps that you're going to want to get mining as quickly as possible. Now that being said, the shrine, I think... I don't know, I would have to ask one of the pro Infernal players about whether or not you want to get that right up against this this Therium as best you can. This one is just Luminite, and Infernals are the Therium Starved race. So getting a bunch of production down is nice, but not as nice as having Luminite to build imps for your Luminite rocks. But I guess more Luminite means more imps. Back on the Celestial side of the map, we're going to see another creation chamber going down. We don't see any Argents yet. Now I just wonder if this is because there we go. The first Argent's coming out from the first creation chamber. Now, because our Infernal player has spent a little bit of money on... Oh, he's doing the meat farm trick. Okay, I really like this. So if you're new to Infernal, dropping down a meat farm will slowly start spawning fell hogs, which you can use to tank damage that your paid for units would otherwise have to take. So yeah, using the fell hogs as a bit of a meat shield for the rest of your army is pretty good. And yeah, it helps. Like, they add a little bit of a DPS so that you can take the camp a little bit quicker as well. So it's nice. I like that placement. I like the usage. Yeah, it really just shields the rest of this, for now, small army ball from taking too much damage. Gonna rotate on over from that to come over to the Vision Camp. Wisely not initiate... No, don't start the fight with your fiends. Start with the Brute. There we go. Hopefully they're both attacking the Brutes. Yeah, they are. And throwing down an effigy to make sure that the passive white health regen is... just leveraging that white health regen from having an effigy and standing on Shroud. Super nice. And we're seeing, man, already 5 imps on that one, 7 imps on this one. Okay, this, I searched for gold player, gold level replays on Untapped. Here we go. There's a bunch of creation chambers. Interesting. Okay, so we've got the what is it? Solar capacitors, photocapacitors. Photocapacitors, which gives the Argents more starting energy and more max energy, so they can shoot charged shots a lot better, which is actually going to be really good. It would be really good against Mass Brute, but we don't... I think this Celestial player hasn't seen what he's up against yet. So dumping resources into that now, I don't know if it's that good at the moment. But then again, a mix of Kree and Argent. At this level, I understand it. You want something that does bonus to heavy and something that does bonus to light. And this is a composition that'll get you there. Oh, wisely using the Evolution Catalyst, though, instead of, maybe getting a couple of Argents killed off in the fight. Just like, well, I've got energy to burn. I can use that to get the V5 rocket launcher, and uses another one. Oh, dips himself into red power though. That's decidedly not good. If you're the Infernal player, it's great, because that means your opponent is severely hindered in terms of... Whoa! Oh no, and everything is inside of the minimum range. I don't think that V5 rocket launcher did a single point of damage. No, the scanner does get away. Is it gonna grab onto another tree? Maybe. Actually, I think a scanner right here would be a really good use of the tree thing. Anyway, yeah, being on red power as a celestial is absolutely terrible. You want to be spending money to get out of red power as quickly as you possibly can. Like I would see Oriole like throwing down emergency power banks as quickly as possible. There we go, up into red and up into green, because the by taking yourself off of green power, you're basically giving yourself a production debuff, and your buildings don't heal. And having buildings that heal is pretty nice. So I've been told. So the next siege camp's gonna get taken here. Oh no, two scanners that are right next to each other into the trees is not great. Is he really gonna sacrifice? That's a pretty good hit though from the V5 rocket launcher. Oh, and the Celestial player is not gonna capitalize and fight that fight. Yeah, his army is pretty small right now. If this is honestly Infernal's game to lose. Like they've been giving so much free time to get. Yeah, here's their fourth on the double Therium. 10 and 7 on these enriched patches is super good. Oh man. Oh, and this I almost never see scanners that have been landed before. But yeah, our Celestial player here, it's not so much that that player 2 is taking good fights as it is that our Celestial player is losing himself the game. We see some high tech units, and the AoE heal or the AoE cloak is really good from the Animancer, but I would think you need a lot bigger of an army before it's going to be as useful as he thinks it's going to be. And we're getting up into the 8th minute here, and we just don't see that much sophistication with the army. We see a handful of Argents and a handful of Kree. Like where are the Sabers? Where are the where's the Cabal? Like we need more frontline stuff, because the where is it? Oh, there we go. Now we see a shrine. Now we see a Therium shrine going down. Or if nothing else, like there's 4 creation chambers here. Why not max out on Argents? Like our Celestial player is just maxed out on I shouldn't say maxed out, but is using not as much Luminite as they should be. And truthfully, there's not that much anti-heavy stuff here. Well, I say that, but the Spriggans are out. Yeah, this Infernal player is good. This Infernal player, well, this is not a gold Infernal player. I'll put it like that. This person is going to be getting out of gold in short order. Knowing that, well, I don't know how much scouting they've done, but yeah, look at this. They've got Spriggans to deal with the. They've got Spriggans to deal with the Argents. They've got Hellborn to deal with the Koreans to just do in general AOE damage. But there we go. Yeah, now I think our Celestial player is going to be on the run. High tech units that are still squishy are going to get nuked immediately. Okay, there's our first Archangel. That's the first sign of you know, doing some pretty scary AOE damage that I've seen out of this Celestial player. And now we're starting to see the numbers come up. Okay, now we've got a game on our hands. At first I was kind of worried. It's like, all right, well, you know, maybe 6 Argents and 5 Kree are going to do it, and 2 Animancers, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Oh, man, but the Celestial player has so much energy. I'm surprised he actually fought that camp. Maybe they just like didn't have the charges of Evolution Catalyst. But actually, I would say to improve play, if you're the Celestial player, would be to go to your opponent's camps and then use Evolution Catalyst on that, because that denies your opponent the ability to get easy. Woo! Holy sound effects! Let's not listen to that again. Another scanner coming out from the creation chamber here is interesting. The Guardian Nexus. There we go. Okay, so we do see good production. A lot of Animancers coming out of the Animancers coming out of the Legion Hall here. should be a really interesting fight. The Spriggans actually do really well against the Archangels as well, and especially with as many as he's got. Holy smokes, that's a lot of Spriggans. Yeah, I think these two have just been avoiding each other for so long, but now we're going to see the Celestial player jump on the jump on this Infernal. I've lost count now. 5th, 6th. 3 pounces. I think 2 pounces probably would have been better, but it's fine. It's on the ground doing damage. Takes care of the shrine. Takes care of all those imps. And oh, now that the Archangels are landed, the Shadow Flyers weren't able to do anything. The Archangels take back off. Where did the There's the third one. No, all these Infernals are just gonna walk past it. No! The Global Shroud spell goes down, and these Hellborn are gonna do fantastic AoE damage against these really clumped up Celestial units. Yeah, and he's got nowhere to run. Like, all these Fellhogs are gonna, like, tar pit him down. Get him, Fellhogs! Get him! I love the Fellhogs so... Yeah, now the Fellhogs are literally body blocking the Argents from getting out. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, like, this Infernal player is they may be gold ranked on the ladder, at least the untapped replay is gold, but this is a really good army composition, using lots of Hellborn, which are admittedly expensive. It's got plenty of Argents out. I don't see all that many tier 1 units, which makes me a little bit worried that this is a bit of a squishy composition. Just that if it did get overrun by, I don't know, Kree or something, or, yeah, I don't, actually, come to think of it, how would you engage this? Like, you don't want to use air against this many Hellborn, because Hellborn shoot up now, but, yeah, it's a really strong composition. If you're an Infernal player looking for a good build, like, I recommend whoa, triple soft watch to scare off the dragon. I was not expecting this level of play out of a gold player, to be honest with you. I did not expect a gold player to even make a dragon, but and there's molten touch from the Hellborn, which is great. All right, spellcaster versus spellcaster. Lots of miasmas going down. A couple of dark proxies going down. This Archangel decided to activate Avatar, but these Hellborn are just able to do so much damage from a distance that I think the Celestial player has no way of engaging. And what's the solution if you can't win a fight straight up? It's like, you don't fight straight up. Go send a flank somewhere else. Go send your this Archangel is gonna keep on one-shotting these poor little imps. Yeah, this I would say this Infernal has quite a few bases that they need to defend at this point, and I wonder how much supply is being taken up by imps at the moment. It's like, yeah, it's 272 supply for the Infernal player, but how much of that is actually just eco? And is this the main force right now? If it's just Hellborn and Fiends, that's almost a perfect target for Archangels. But Archangels require a lot of resources. And a lot of resources this Celestial player does not have. Oh no, the miasma goes down. These Spriggans are going to be basically just uncontested in the skies. The Argents do technically shoot up, but they're not going to be doing any bonus damage. The Spriggans are lightly armored, and the Argents do bonus to heavy, so they're kind of not in a good position to do that, and there's just so much Infernal here that I think we're going to be seeing GG any minute. Yeah, there's just no way. There's just no way that the Celestial player can hold off that much. No! I think that was an Arc Fortress that just went down, completely resetting the tech for our Celestial player. And, yeah, now he's on red power. No Luminite mining. This is the end. This is the end. We just don't see GG yet. There it is. Alright. That was the end of the game. GG's, guys. On to the next IVC. Alright, guys. Here we are in our second IVC of this edition of Metal League Monday. We are going to see the Hexen coming on forward to do a little bit of scouting. You typically don't see a Celestial player going for this, going for that as their natural expansion for an array, just because it's harder for them to reinforce if it does start getting attacked. They have no way of reinforcing that as quickly as this one that's right next to the ramp. Attacking the Arc Ship with your Hexen is a choice, but I think it's also very telling. It lets the Celestial player know that you didn't build a Conclave and that you're not going to be creeping anytime soon. So it kind of lets the Celestial player know it's like, hey, there's no pressure right now. You can chill, because if you did build a Conclave, you wouldn't be, you'd be going around the map trying to get creeps. You wouldn't be wasting time with your Hexen. Whoa. Okay, typically it's just 1-1 with the Iron Vault and Conclave. But yeah, as soon as any of these production structures pop, they should be building a unit and then running around the map to start creeping. There we go. And this Hexen's about to fill up completely on energy if he's not careful. Is he gonna hit 100 before he gets to that health camp? He might. Meanwhile, over here, I like the power banks on the high ground. I don't know if I like them being that close to the ramp though. It makes them very easily assailable. All right, down goes the health camp, and there's a bunch of fiends, and I think that's the same brute that lived. Tell the tale. Pretty cool. Okay, rotating down to the vision camp is super nice. Actually, getting the vision camp right now would be really good. In fact, I would even take the vision camp that's closer to the Celestial player so that you can see whatever their composition is whenever they decide to get out on the map. As well as like getting that health cabbage and denying the cabbage. Not that it matters though. I think right now the only player that I've ever seen use Celestials effectively creeping has been Oriel with very early game Seraphim. So sticking to your own side of the map is still pretty good as kind of a lower tier Infernal player. Just making sure that maybe it is a player that's going to go for an early game Seraphim and they're going to try and snipe your camps. Well, Seraphim do take 75% reduced damage from the creeps, but they still take plenty of damage from your normal army units. So Gaunts do fantastic against Seraphim. So that's another good reason. Oh, I like this. Letting the Hexen chill on the energy regen camp just to get a little bit more energy. Get a few more skulls out while we're waiting for... Yeah, Plague Axis hasn't even started yet, so making sure that the skulls keep coming out is really good. Third also coming out for our Infernal player, which is going to be right between the Therium and the Luminite. Yeah, I would imagine that getting closer to Therium would be better, but it might also be... No, he's definitely closer to the Luminite this time. There we go. Plague Axis starts immediately once the Ritual Chamber is done. There we go. And a single fiend is going to be able to scout all these Argents that are out on the map. Oh no, this one Argent's going to take so much damage. A Purify drops for these Argents, and they're going to be taking damage from the Shadow Demon the entire time. They're just going to walk past the entire Infernal army and not do a single point of damage. They're just going to walk on past and die. Rather unfortunate. Also, oh no, the Celestial player's on red power also. That's a big bummer. I would actually cancel one of these. That's too many... You don't... The Celestial player is building production structures like they have way more bases than they actually do. Yeah, it's only a 3 array Celestial right now, and there's only 2 workers. There's only 2 prisms that are mining Therium. So this is... I think it's a little bit too much production and not enough eco. That's alright. We're going to see our Infernal player coming along with a pretty normal Gaunt root composition. He's going to force a cancel on this array, which is really good. Kills off the infests and kills off the Morph Core as well. Oh, that one Fiend got a lot of scouts done, though. Not that it matters. It's pretty apparent once you're getting shot by a Saber that, hey, there's probably a Saber on the high ground. Click, drag. Click, drag. Okay, now we're finally adding tier 2 units into the mix with that Magmadon. I really like that. That this Infernal player is just sticking to tier 1 units and kind of forcing a, you know, like, I'm gonna drown you in blood kind of a thing. We are seeing the Brute upgrade happen here, and I think that only... Okay. So it doesn't only affect them when they manually split, but it affects them when they die and drop fiends as well. Using the Magmadon to mow down the trees is nice and check for a third, but I think yeah, not seeing a collection array over here at the typical third is an indication kind of where that third array is going to be. I think he knew after he saw that that he canceled the array where it was going to go down, so probably a good bet that that's where it's at right now. Yep, just mowing the lawn, mowing the lawn. You know, I actually think that if the Magmadon... Actually, no, this is great for the Infernal, just because Infernals, because they have so many units, you don't want them to get bunched up and have high number counts not mean as much. So clearing out a lot of trees at once is pretty good. But I think he's being a little bit too shy right now. I think some pokes and getting some damage done. Like I think he knew that he was ahead a little while ago. It's just a matter of like pressing the advantage and going for the kill. Like if you know that you're ahead and you know you've got the better army, like why not? Why not go fight? This isn't just it's not just like, hey, let's do the PvE portions of the game and not fight the opponent until you're maxed out. It's like, no, if you're at an advantage right now, you don't want your opponent to catch up to you. It's better to go fight your opponent if you've got the better army and you have the potential to win earlier, as opposed to letting your opponent eco up, macro up, tech up, and then potentially build whatever it is that's going to counter your army. Case in point, this is quite a few Sabers. This is more than a couple vectors. I think the vectors are meant to counter Spriggans, but there haven't been any Spriggans. I would say that this game is definitely... both of the players in this game can benefit from scouting a lot more. I know we saw some scanners earlier on in one of the earlier games. Actually, I think it might have been last game. And that would have been fantastic to just keep an eye on, like, all right, well, what units are walking past the scanner? What does that mean for, you know, what units should be built? But I think that little skirmish with the Fiends has been the most we've seen in a little bit here. Uh-oh. My mouse went kind of crazy there for a second. Are they actually going to collide this time? We do see the one good lash go down. With the... No, the lash isn't canceled by the purification. This is what I was talking about. Okay, now our Infernal player is going to, like, decisively win. Made all kinds of, made a bunch of Shadow Flyers, but goodness knows why. Okay, it does take out a Morph Core. That's nice. But look, right now, you should be walking into your opponent's main. Just go A-move. You can A-move. Our Infernal player can A-move and win right now. Ahead by 50 supply, just took out a bunch of expensive units. Pretty much reset the Saber count. Yeah, there we go. We see 5 more Sabers here on the at the rally point for our Celestial player, though. What's gonna happen? So yeah, getting out, making more power banks is always good. Surrounding the, that's a lot of static defense. I was about to ask where the Celestial player's been spending the Ethereum, but this might be part of it. He's still floating so much. Oh no, the Celestial player's broke. It's the Infernal player that had just over 1,000 just now, but spent a bunch of it all at once. I wonder if that means that there's a dragon coming out. The Animus count is still quite high, so I want to say no. Oh man, the Hexen Master Training's going down, even though he's only got one Hexen. And now both players are in the 4 digits for Luminite, and they need to spend, spend, spend. Once again, going for the eco of the Celestial player. The array does get a... Whoa, man, these are all surged, and I bet you they're not being used. Yep. All that power just not being used. I don't know what our Infernal player is scared of right now. I think they could like go forward and win. Just go forward and win. I know the Hellborn count isn't all that high. Oh, the Global Shroud spell goes down. It's quite expensive. I want to say it's like 50 animus to cast that, but you know, maybe it's worth it if it means that your gaunts are all infesting. But no, that's another like global spell that no matter where your opponent runs, they're always going to go, like you'll always be fighting on Shroud. So I think that's one of those things that, like, hey, if you dump resources into getting an advantage in a fight, like, go take advantage of what you just spent money on. It looks like there was an effigy drop, and it was probably a permanent effigy. A bunch of really nice lashes going down, taking out a bunch of the sabers. Now go win. Go win, Infernal player. You can do it. No! Don't turn around. You're so far ahead. You don't have to mine out the entire map to win. Just go forward and win. You can do it. There we go. Yeah, this static D is going to be kind of rough to deal with. But, quantity is a quality all on its own, as I've heard several people say. There we go. A couple more Sovereign's Watches get dropped, and our Celestial players dropped heavily into the red now. This is a lot of, yeah, the Celestial players are just... I think if the Sabers and the Argents had fought behind this choke and kind of like kept the Infernals in that choke, they might have held on a little bit longer, but yeah, there's just so much Infernal right now. The supply difference was absolutely insane. So GG's, guys. That'll be it for IVC on this episode of Metal League Mondays. What's going on, guys? It's Frank here with the first of 2 IVCs for Metal League Mondays on Isle of Dread. So we're going to see a shrine, we're going to see 2 shrines get dropped. Basically because Isle of Dread is so big and the path to get to your opponent's base is so wandering, so meandering that by the time anyone gets there, like you're basically, you have the potential to be set up. And what we typically see is our Infernal player will pick either the expansion with Ethereum on it or the expansion that has double Luminite on it. It's not too often that we see both, just because the Lancers can get out quite quickly, and Lancers early game are really good and they're really tanky. So once a Lancer's at your base, there's a substantial amount of effort that it takes to get rid of them. But it looks like our Vanguard player isn't taking advantage of the map the same way that our Infernal player is, and he used a Bob Overcharge to build the barracks and the BK lab. Yeah, this is another one of those things. The shrine's built; it's done being built, but have we seen much? Have we seen many like imps being produced out of it? Have we seen it being leveraged all that much? Not yet. I would almost think that sticking with this one and then maxing out, like saturating this Luminite rock, getting a bunch of production up, would be a better use of those resources than this shrine that has, you know, up until the 3rd minute just kind of been sitting there. Now, our Infernal player is able to get away with it. What? Why was there another overcharge? Nothing's getting, he's just sending a single Bob over to expand? No, Vanguard, you need like 4 or 5 overcharge Bobs to come over here and build the expansion. Okay, but it's going to be a couple of Exos, and, wait, did the Lancer go down? Where did the Lancer go? There he is. Could have microed that a little bit better, I think. Oh, it's the poor dog that's going to be taking the brunt of it. Doesn't matter, though. No units lost, and the speed camp is taken, so everything is hunky-dory for our Vanguard player. Meanwhile, meanwhile, Infernal's going to be here staging up to get the health camp, which is good. Infernals are typically the more, on the map, taking creep camps race. So, you got to get out there and do it eventually. You might as well do it now. Okay, so once that camp is taken, our Vanguard player can see, basically it's telling the Vanguard player, hey, that's where their army ball is. If you were to go engage, that's where you would go do it. Or, hey, that's where their army ball is. They're probably going to be distracted in that area. You could go somewhere else and take a camp. Oh, the dog's going to get caught. Is it going to go down? It does. Tries to run past those gaunts, and it doesn't work. That's a lot of Exos and a single Lancer coming on forward to, I don't know, I guess take out this expansion. All these Exos are anti-heavy, and getting rid of these effigies is also going to be really nice. And yeah, our Infernal player is going to be turning around maybe a little bit too late. But with the Exos serving as the front line here for our Vanguard player, they're all going to go down pretty quickly. Gets us around using the Brutes and the Gaunts, and that one Lancer is going to be taking a bunch of damage. And we do see a shields up happen on this one Exo, but yeah, now this aggressing force of Vanguard has been reduced to absolutely nothing, dead to a man, and yeah, the Infernal player just got a bunch of Animus for free, and now they can chill. Well, they can chill, but should they chill? I think not. There's the energy regen camp to take, which has Therium in it. There's the vision camps to take, because if you just took out your opponent's army, like, that they don't have army to go take their own camp. So take this one. Deny the Therium to your opponent. Take this one. Let your give yourself vision for when the opponent's army is going to be heading towards you, to give you a better position. I think there's always something for an Infernal army to do, and just like hanging out on Shroud regenerating white health isn't the best use for these units. You have so many of them right now. You have a bunch that are like moderately tanky. Like go take advantage of it. Even mining out these trees with an imp to come down and get this camp, I would be okay with at this point in the game. But no, it looks like he's gonna chill for a little bit. Or at least harass or do something to, like, put pressure on your opponent. Or, I mean, for that matter, go win. Like, your opponent has a barracks? 2 barracks. Okay, I was wrong. Has 2 barracks and a mech bay. And nothing is being produced out of anything. 3 barracks, excuse me. That one just never finished the building animation. What? Infernal player, you're... Okay, getting a drop ready is good. But where's the drop going to happen at? I would imagine that you would want to, like, I know dropping in the back door of your opponent's main is good, but flying over spaces like this, where you're almost guaranteed to have, a normal opponent will probably have units like going through this little avenue. So I think you would want to like cut over to the edge of the map and then fly over the water where they're less likely to be seen. Okay, there we go. Oh, Big Daddy Vulcan just pops out though, and he can do a lot of damage to these gaunts. There we go. Getting a lot of damage done on these poor fobs. Is this a second mech bay that's being done? No, it's a mech lab. And those fiends are getting so many free hits. And then every single gaunt loads up, gets inside of the transport, and gets to leave. And these fiends are not being killed yet. Still not being killed yet. 2 Vulcans and a bunch of Exos is pretty good, but I think you still need a lot more Still not tanky enough. I would still want Lancers in there. Do these guys have quick draw? No, they don't have quick draw. And there's no kinetic redirection for the Lancers either. No! Yeah, if you're always going to have high numbers of Lancers and Exos, so getting the upgrade for them is really good. Just because it affects so many units all at once. Alright, looks like our Infernal player's double Therium Shrine has finished up. I don't know where these imps are headed to. That's just seven workers is maybe a smidge too much. Now is he trying to saturate these two no, this already has 18 workers on it. What? No, go to your double Therium. Get your double Therium. Yeah, and look, this beautiful Infernal army blob still hasn't done much. Like, let's see how far do we have to fast forward before they move? Look, this is all wasted potential. Like, go get creep camps, go get buffs or something. Like, oh, and the Infernal player's floating 2200 Luminite. Go make expansions, go make more production. Still not moving. Still not moving. Still not moving. Okay. We see our Infernal player going for the health camp. Still not moving. Still not moving. Still not moving. Yeah, this is the classic case of like, well, let me max out and then I'll go attack. It's like, you could have won this game 4 minutes ago. Is that it? Is that the end of the game? I guess that must have been it. All that waiting for a fight to not happen. Oh, it might have been. This must have been a drop or something. And yeah, I think our Vanguard player realized once that drop happened again. It's like you've got way too little, and he was right. That Vanguard army could not take on this Infernal army. But yeah, there's no culminating fight, but. Still, GG's, guys. If you're the Infernal player, don't be afraid to go be a little bit more aggressive. And if you've got units, start taking camps. Even if they're on your side of the map. Take these ones. Take these ones. These ones give Therium. Like, and if the reason that you want it, even if you don't need the energy regen buff, like, get the Therium from these guys so that way when they die, the clock starts ticking back down so that way when they regenerate, you can kill them again for even more resources. So it really scales up, and you want to be leveling up these camps. And even taking the Therium camp is fantastic for an Infernal player. But yeah, GG's, guys. On to the final IVV of Meta League Mondays. Alright, guys, here we are in our second game of the IVV matchup for Meta League Mondays on patch 0.2.1. And just to start off, we don't see the Hexen moving forward to do any scouting. I think you almost need to, just because knowing whether or not someone's going for an expansion first is very helpful info to have, and the Hexen can do, maybe a little bit of damage to Bobs if they're going to try and build something, and gives you a good idea of like, okay, is he producing Lancers? Is he teching up? Is he going for an expansion first? But yeah, because that scout never happened, this Vanguard player is going to go unpunished with these with this early greed. Now our Infernal player is being a lot greedier with the third shrine going down. Let's see here. Is he gonna just try and saturate the natural first? I think he should, especially while he's waiting for these production structures to come online. Just build imps. Or, put more imps on the Therium patch at least. Oh, I think this is the same player. This is probably the same player. Alright, so they're both gonna be building and playing SimCity, and it's absolutely mind blowing to me, especially for the Vanguard player. Like, the scout is meant to scout. The Hexen was meant to be the Infernal version of the scout that could, like, defend any scout aggression on the imps. I think getting out on the map. There we go. Here we are at 3 minutes. Finally starting to take the health camp. Nice to see that the, oh, that's what that imp was doing. The imp was building a meat farm over here to have the Fell Hogs tank damage, but looks like, oh, it's that Gaunt that's going to get away with murder. Survives with just 3 health. But yeah, now our Vanguard that's on 2 base really early is going to start building up. Oh no, but he's supply blocked. No! He hit the hedgehog button. He's not able to build any more hedgehogs. Okay, that habitat's still getting constructed. He's going to take his own health camp, which is good. That's another reason why scouting around is so good. If you can catch your opponent's army, and it's been, here, look, 3 stacks of radioactive blood is minus 75 armor. Having, like, fighting something that has minus 75 armor is really good. You're going to be doing all kinds of damage to it. It's just well worth the effort to go get that information. So I hope this doesn't end up being like last game where our Infernal player just chills. Okay, nope, I was wrong. I thought he was just going to like mass up his army right there and use that as a rally point and never really get out on the map. But I'm pleased to see that, you know, there's Brutes, a couple of Gaunts, and a bunch of Fiends that are over here going to take the Vision Camp. Hexen's a little too far forward, in my humble opinion, but with so many targets, it's just unlikely that these Shadow Demons are going to kill anything off. That might have been a single Fiend they got. Get the cabbage. Get the cabbage. If nothing else, deny the cabbage, or use your Hexen to get the cabbage, but chilling by the cabbage is a bit of a wasted opportunity. Oh, getting the speed camp's going to be interesting too, and that's going to signal. So if you're the Vanguard player and you don't see this army, all you see is, okay, the Vision Camp got taken. And then if the next thing you see is, uh-oh, the speed camp got taken, then you're on high alert. You're like, uh-oh, the Infernal player is like right on my doorstep. I need to like hunker down, put up some sentry posts, and like, no, don't get hit by the telegraphed attacks. That's why sending one Brute forward to just like bait out all the telegraphed attacks is kind of nice. Okay, so now these Bobs almost certainly saw that Gaunt. But nothing moves out. It's just pure Hedgehog Lancer. Looks like the composition here, which I actually don't hate. The Lancer is going to get in contact with the Brutes first, but the Hedgehogs are a pretty good counter to basically everything that's in the Infernal army right now. I do think that we're well overdue for a more tech. Do we have... Oh, we're missing the fight. Okay, we do have Plague Axes, but didn't throw down an effigy, so none of these Plague Axes are going to proc. Nice Nightfall Infestation goes down on these the Hedgehogs, but the effigy should have been right in the middle of the army, I think, just so everything's getting that white health regen. Now the Vanguard player's on full retreat. Go chase, go win! Go win! Decides to chill on top of the Vision Camp instead. Decides to pass up the health cabbage. No. I do like this SimCity of meat farms, even though there is like a bit of a wall or a bit of a hole right there in the wall. Should be fine. And it looks like we're getting ready for a drop now. So the Gaunts aren't fully upgraded yet. Are we going to see the Reaper's Rush coming out of there? So Reaper's Rush is on the way, as well as, what is that? Soulforge Ascendants. Perfect. Okay, so they're getting loaded up, but again, you don't want to be chasing, or you don't want to be, like, sending your Harbingers directly over where you know your opponent's at. No, everything's gonna get seen. No! Everything there is, like, anti-light or anti-air. Leave. No! No, one of the full ones died. Oh, no! And now it's these 6 Gaunts versus the entire Vanguard army. This was a huge mistake. Still manages to get 2 Hornets, but that's not nearly enough. That is an absolute loss. I think that was So much unnecessary loss right there. Like, just the simple act of going to the edge of the map and then flying north to get into the back door of the of your opponent's base would have been great. Now, seeing this Vulcan here is very interesting. I get that it's guarding the bombs, but that is a lot of resources and a lot of DPS that's just kind of sitting, being wasted there. It might as well be a turret. But it's not. And that's another thing that this Vanguard player needs to learn about is containing your opponent. Now our Infernal players on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shrines, and the main is still mining. That's it's pretty insane. Getting all kinds of production structures as well. Another ritual chamber's interesting. I don't know why you want double Hellforge when you're not using the first Hellforge. Maybe they think that these are production structures. These are really the only tech structures you need to worry about. As an Infernal player, I don't understand the new Ritual Chamber and the new Hellforge, but hey, they were winning the game anyway. But what's happening here? They're like, here we go. Get the health camp. You have army. You have all this DPS. Give them something to do. Go get the health camp. Let's see. Nope. Gonna chill. Okay, going for the Luminite camp. I do like that. It's better than doing nothing, but man, that was a long time of just doing nothing. Yeah, so that Hellforge is done. I don't know. I think that was just a straight up mistake. Alright, focusing down the Illuminite camp, which is nice. Not losing a whole lot in terms of supply to take the camp. But man, you gave... Infernal player gave the Vanguard so much time to like build up and get these high-tech units out of the map. The other thing I'm worried about is that there's so many Vulcans and there's... How many Weavers? 0 Weavers. 0 Weavers. What are you going to do against all these Vulcans with no Weavers? I know it kind of seems counterintuitive. You don't want something that does AoE damage at melee distance to get in close contact with your army, but like if you can yoink them in to a good DPS density bubble. Oh, here they are. They're finally going to close distance. These Spriggans are going to get absolutely slaughtered by the Hornets, though. They need to leave. Oh my gosh. There's just so much fighting that's not happening. Alright, so that another good example of like what to do here. Like, if you were to freeze right here and say, okay, what can I do as the Infernal player? Well, you've got scouts of a sort in terms of Spriggans, and you've got some Hellborn that can do some pretty good shots against a clumped up army. So if you have your Hellborn kind of in this area, and your Spriggans can act as spotters to start lobbing in shots right there, I think the amount of shots that they can get done, the amount of AoE damage they can do against this ball, would be pretty effective. Now that there's an Atlas that's set up, that kind of complicates things, but I think there's a lot of missed opportunity here while this Infernal army was just chilling, not doing anything at all. Some more Spriggans are added into the mix. I don't understand why. Spriggans are great against Celestials and Lancers in a Vanguard army, but I don't. It almost seems like it's too many. Like maybe it might be good to like snipe down production structures or something, but the Shadow Demons is alright, I guess. Whoa! Holy diagonal! That is a very diagonal command post, and so if you don't know, building your command structure or whatever structure it is that your workers return the resources to, you want it built either perfectly straight up and down or perfectly side to side. If you build it diagonal, that's so much efficiency loss, but this is going to be so many miasmas going down onto this Vanguard army. The Global Shroud goes down. These Hellborn are going to get fantastic shots off, but no, I think Wait, who's gonna get cleaned up first? Yeah, okay. So it is the Vanguard player that still gets cleaned up. Hellborn are able to shoot upwards in this patch. Now, are they going to engage into this lone... that lone Atlas? I think they should. No, don't just sit there and take shots from the Atlas. No, the Atlas is the threat. Target down the Atlas. Ah! Yeah, that shield up finally runs out. Now there's nothing left to defend this Vanguard base, and I think it's just a matter of time. Yep, there it is. Player 1 knows that they're fully cooked, and they GG out of the game. All right, that's it for the Infernal edition of this week's episode of Metal League Mondays. Hope you guys got some little nuggets of wisdom, and if you didn't and you want to submit a replay, please do so. You can find me on Discord. My name on Discord is Frank Sriracha Jr., all one word. Yeah, and I'd love to cast your replays. So thanks for sticking around, guys. We'll see you later.